Traditionally, Oxford is viewed as a college city, the city of dreaming spires, although more recently it has become a city centre and the hub of the county. I am going to look at how the townscape of Oxford creates some of these world-renowned characteristics. I have chosen a route that takes me through both the small traditional streets around the colleges and the more modern, wider, busy streets of Oxford. The wall deflects the road around the corner, adding mystery about what is to come. A sense of here and there is created with the high walls and darkness, and the trees and light buildings further down the road. There is also a sense of enclosure, with very high walls coupled with narrow streets, creating a large height-to-width ratio. The bridge is a surprise as they are uncommon in city centres. It is also not what you expect to see when you walk round the corner from a fairly plain street. A sense of infinity is created by the open sky, which is a contrast to before. Not being able to see anything beyond the roof line is not what you'd expect to see in Oxford, which is full of tall buildings. It almost makes you feel as if you are in a small English village with the traditional architecture and building materials. A feel of here and there is also created by the bridge, with no clue as to what is beyond it, creating mystery as well. The high walls and gate at the end create closure, with the appearance of a dead end. If the road markings weren't there, there is no indication of another road, adding mystery and surprise. A strong feeling of enclosure is created on this road, with high walls, dark building materials and no windows, and the illusion of only one pathway to follow. A sense of enclosure is produced here with the tall buildings. However, in contrast to before, the space is overlooked and bright. Here and there is created by the bridge, with the vision that beyond this landmark is a more open space. There is great contrast as you walk under the bridge, going from dark to bright, open and airy in a matter of seconds. The Radcliffe camera creates a focal point within the square with its extravagant architecture and space. This type of building is not uncommon in Oxford, however it is reserved for the important buildings within the university, which leads them to be scattered around the city. The feel of enclosure is produced by the tall walls and buildings, but still with the illusion of open space from the trees on the right. This is a contrast to the openness of Radcliffe Square, where we have just come from. There is also contrast on this street, created by the sudden change from wall to building as the road gets narrower towards the end. When you move on to Broad Street, a new kind of contrast can be noticed. There is a very clear distinction between the two sides of the road, the traditional college on the right and the newer shopping on the left. This is a brilliant example where the two share space and join together at the end of the road. It would be interesting to do further research into how this street developed and how it is used today. The trees and layout of the road make it appear as if it goes on forever, creating a sense of infinity as we have not seen before. This is unusual in the college district of the city, which is usually full of alleyways and corners. As you walk along Parks Road, you get views into the grounds of the colleges. These views create contrast between the public and private areas of Oxford, as you get glimpses of what the luxurious life of the college students is like, compared to the cramped conditions of the public realm. Outside the museum there is a contrast created by the building materials used on the different sides of the road. One side is red brick, which is very unusual for a city like Oxford, compared to the traditional yellow stone of the museum. However, the grandeur of the museum is reflected in the red brick buildings, with the intricate yellow brick decorations on the roadside. This shows how the city has developed over the years, but remains consistent in many ways. Open space and grand architecture are used here in the same way as at the Radcliffe Camera. They provide an air of importance associated with the building and also a contrast to many areas of the city.